Hello, my friends. My name is Jim Gale, and I'm coming to you from our completely off-grid community here in Central Florida, about 40 minutes from the Orlando International Airport. We produce all of our own food, water, and energy here on the property, and we are free. We do not comply with government. We publicly do not pay slave taxes, income taxes. We've built all of our homes here without asking for permission. Now, here's a fact that I think is going to be of interest to you. We've had several government officials come here, including a congressman, a senator, a woman who's running for Osceola County Sheriff, who I absolutely adore, and a government official was here about, I don't know, 5, 6 months ago. And I get a call from my friend on the land, and he said, Jim, there's a guy here with a badge and a clipboard asking to see building permits for your homes. I got a wave of anxiety when I heard that, because I've been planning for this moment for a long time, very strategically, very thoughtfully, very mindfully. I am aware of what's happening in the world, and I'm aware of the catalyst for the suffering in our world. So I took a deep breath. I breathed in spirit. I breathed in presence, which is where I believe God resides, where I know, where I feel the presence of the divine, of source. And I started walking to this man. I walked through the food forest, right? I was standing right over here, and he was about 80 yards that way through the food forest. So I walked over and I saw him standing there, and I turned on my phone and I held it up, and I walked up to this fella, and I was recording the conversation. And I said, hello, my name is Jim Gale, and I am recording this conversation so we don't mix up any words, right? Because we know that sometimes the authorities, they fib a little bit in order to make their case, or maybe a lot. I didn't know this fella, and I was anticipating an authority figure, somebody who would react to my stance of freedom, right? It says right there, free man. I thought he was going to act in an authoritative manner, saying, I do have the right to be here. Well, anyway, I asked him his name, and he said, my name is Alexi. And I shared with him, well, first I asked him, how did you get permission to come on this property? Implied consent is not granted, and it's posted at the beginning of the property in 3 different locations. Now, this is where I was expecting him to say, I have the right to be here, which he does not, according to case law, by the way. And instead, he said, I'm sorry, I will leave if you want me to. The gate was open, so I just came in. I was impressed by that candor and that humility and that logic, that man-to-man, or could it be man-to-woman conversation. And then I said, well, maybe that's a good idea. But before you go, I would like to show you what we are doing. And I would like to invite you and the government that you represent to do it with us. And he said, well, sounds good. Yeah. So we walked about a minute. Well, we walked about 50 yards into the food forest here. This is a living system that produces so much food. Well, it's exponential. This food forest could feed the world over time. You might say, what are you talking about? That's impossible. Well, no, it's very mathematical, actually. It's very logical. It's also very divine. Every single plant here, the zapote and the ice cream bean and the avocados and the sugar cane and the mulberries and the Jamaican cherries and the peaches and plums and the sweet potatoes and the blueberries and the figs and all of the 250 different types of foods here, they produce babies. And when we take care of these systems, they produce a lot of babies, right? Mother Nature is very productive if we love her. So we walked over into the food forest, and I said, I am here. We are here to take care of, to be the stewards of this land. We are here to care for ourselves, our families, and our communities. We are here to serve. What your government, the government that you represent with your little clipboard and check marks, what you will allow me to do is kill everything. A lot of the things that we're doing are technically illegal. And yet, if you look at what you approve and subsidize, if you look at your policies represented in all of the communities around here, what will you see? You will see death. You will see suffering. You will see butterflies. There was butterflies flying all around us at the time. There was bees. You could feel and hear it. This system is a sensory explosion of life, of energy, of joy, abundance, of health and wealth. All wealth is derived from nature. How could it be any other way? Anyway, after a short conversation, he had a tear in his eye, and he said, I'm with you. I will never bother you again. Now, how did this happen? This happened because of decades of asking the question, how do we change the world? We do have a few gnats. I haven't actually experienced gnats around here for whatever. This is the first time. But as the seasons change, the insects will come in. And what we found is in the food forest, there are far less mosquitoes and far less gnats and other annoying creatures. Why? Because those creatures come from an unbalanced system, right? When we spray chemicals like glyphosate and Roundup into our ponds or spray in fog into the atmosphere to kill mosquitoes, my friends, those chemicals are chemicals of war. Those were developed by the same companies that developed mustard gas during Vietnam and before, even during World War II. Those chemical companies are the most powerful companies in the world today, and they are funded by none other than an entity called BlackRock. BlackRock, my friends, is not only the name, it is the intention. By their deeds you shall know them. By their fruits you shall know them. BlackRock, which is run by a computer named Aladdin, is in control of the financial system, the currency, the current of life, right? The current, like a river, is held in the banks. This whole fiat debt, which is death-based system, is a scam. It's a lie. And most of you bravehearts already know that. Some of you are starting to know that right now, because now is the only thing that is real. Some of you are suffering. Some of you are humiliated and sad and rageful and angry and pissed off because the system is so corrupt. But I want to ask you a question. Does your sadness, does your humiliation, your shame, your rage, does your pride, your ego, your gluttony, your envy, your jealousy, does those energies, do they serve you? Or do they serve your friends and family? Do they serve nature? You already know the answer to that. They don't. So what's the solution to those? The solution is so joyfully simple. Take a breath and be present and love yourself. If loving yourself is hard to do because of your BS, your belief systems, and your bullshit, if loving yourself is too hard to do because you're in the habit of hating yourself, then ask the question, where did that habit come from? Well, it came from years of practice. So how do we turn that problem into the solution? Well, we start practicing loving ourselves again. And maybe you can't start with love. Maybe you can simply start with a little bit of forgiveness. How do you do that? Well, know this. Everybody does the best they can with what they got at that moment. And know that there is some sort of dark force, some sort of evil, right? Which is live backwards, which is sucking our life, right? The devil never lived. It's backwards. To live is to take a deep breath and simply practice presence. When you are in presence, the present is, however corny this might sound, the gift from God, from Source, from our Creator, from this magical, divine energy field. However you want to state this, the present is where the healing begins and is where the healing is. So let's practice this for a second. Put your feet relaxed on the ground. Now, if you can have your shoes off and you can actually be in the soil, that would be best. But if you can't, that's okay. If you're in the car, if you're in wherever you are, none of it really matters except for one thing. How does it feel to feel your hands vibrating? How does it feel to feel the space between your ears relaxed? How does it feel to feel the vibration, the frequency? What does it look like to see the light? And then to know that light is frequency, it's energy, it's vibration. Now let's take that light. Imagine our crown chakra. Imagine our skulls opening up. I've been in the field all morning planting fruit trees. So imagine your crown chakra opening up and imagine a golden light opening up and filling your body, starting right here. Imagine this light going down. Maybe there's a feather right here, and the feather is a white feather, and it's gently floating back and forth. And it has the ability to clean and to scrub the thoughts away, the programmed, habitual thought circles, the thought hurricanes at times. And this feather is floating in the white light. And as it starts going back and forth in your mind, it's just, it's like a broom, a beautiful feather white broom in the golden light. And it's just cleaning up those thoughts. And now imagine and feel as you take a deep breath, feel the tightness. Like squeeze your brain and then feel the feather come. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax the area of your third eye. Take another deep breath, and as you feel the relaxation, the white light, the golden light, the amber light, whatever calls to you, whatever heals you, feel that light going down into your eyes and the energy behind your eyes. And maybe you're kind of swaying back and forth with this feather, and you're feeling your eyes relaxing. Take a deep breath and squeeze them a little bit, and then let them go. Keep swaying with that feather and feel that golden light and feel that feather going down to your nasal cavity and throughout your mind, throughout your brain. Squeeze your nasal cavity and your jaw a little bit. Right? So as that white light, that golden light, that amber light, and that feather keep going back and forth and cleaning, feel your jaw. Tighten up your jaw. Take a deep breath in, and then feel it. Feel the energy, the frequency, the vibration. Now feel your throat. This is where your choices are made. This is where you speak your love, your care, your faith, your courage. Tighten it up a little bit. And then as you exhale, feel that light. And maybe it's your spine, right? Do the same thing. Take a breath and feel where you're tight. And go in and tighten it. And then exhale. And now the light is coming into your chest. This is where your belief systems are held. Your BS is held. Take a deep breath and breathe in the light, the frequency, the vibration of faith and courage and relaxation and healing and love for yourself. Straighten up your breath, straighten up your spine, and feel the light, the energy, the frequency pervade, encompass, allow your spine, your energy, your heart to sing again. Feel your heartbeat. Take a few relaxed, deep, and mindful breaths until you can feel your heart beating. You can hear your heart beating. You can feel it. Now, as your heart relaxes, feel that energy, that frequency, that vibration, that light, that energy. Feel it going into your stomach. Your capabilities, your belief systems are being cleansed. They're being cleaned by this feather, by this energy, by this frequency, by this love, by you loving yourself enough to take this now and to be with it, right? If you want to find the secrets of the universe, of God, of you. If you want to feel the secrets of the universe, of God, and of you, because you are the universe, you are part of God. God is omnipotent and omnipresent. It is the ego's illusion that we are separate from our Creator, from the universe, from God, from nature. Those are all lies. They are all distractions. Now let that energy go down as you straighten your back and you sit up. Raise your chin and bring your energy, your awareness, your mindfulness, along with the light, the love, the frequency, the energy, the gold, the feather. Bring it down to your lower stomach, your abdomen, your lower back, your crotch, your private parts, your sacrum, your vagina, your testicles, your most sensitive areas, the areas that are used most frequently to create shame and humiliation and control, because those energy fields are where we are controlled the most. And it starts with those root chakras, those places where we are led to be ashamed of who we are. Breathe in that energy, that light, that frequency, and relax. Relax the tightness in these areas and feel the vibration of these divine, sensitive areas. Feel it. These pleasure zones that can be so much joy, so much wonder can come from these areas. But they can also be meant to control and harm. When we start loving our whole self again, then we live fully. My friends, there's a lot of names for what's happening right now. The ascension of human consciousness, the apocalypse, which we've been led to believe is a bad thing. The apocalypse means lifting the veil. It means the great reveal, the great unmasking, the great awakening, right? We could also call it the great war, but that word brings fear. So I hesitate to use that word unless we are also aware that it's a game. This can also be thought of as God's playground. And you might say, why would God ever allow suffering? Well, let's imagine that we are God. Let's imagine for a second that we are part of nature, God, the universe. How could we not be? Well, imagine that you have an eternity to experience, and contrast shines a light on the good. So when we experience the most terrifying, horrible things, right? And you know what I'm talking about. All of the suffering, the children's suffering, the rape, the incest, the rape of our minds, the war, the hatred, the poisons. This is as far from God as it gets from what God is, which is a foundation of light and love and infinite, limitless possibilities. My friends, the next phase of humanity is the ascension. And what will happen? Well, for those of us who make it through, how? And by the way, we'll all make it through because our energy lives on. Einstein said this as well. Energy simply changes forms. This form, this ego, edging God out, is an illusion. It's a temporary blip. It's like a bubble that in the ocean, a wave crashed in a little microscopic bubble, floated up out of the ocean, and then floated back down to the ocean and merged again with the ocean. Our energy field is part of that ocean of God. So, what do you do now to make it through this time? And this is where it gets quite strategic and joyful, right? I went out this morning. I got up at 6:13 is when I looked at my clock. And I got up and I walked outside into the food forest because it calls me. This place, which by the way, you are all invited to, it calls me. This, my friends, what we are building is the Garden of Eden. It's a place that I imagine to be like the Garden of Eden. We're not farmers. We simply walk outside our door and we have access throughout the year to 250 different types of edible and medicinal plants. I'm walking on the edge here. I'm living dangerously. You see this thing right here? That is up. That's fun. Oh, look at that jumping spider. Anyway, that's our cook stove. And it's directly connected through that yellow wire to our toilet. Every single house, well, if you've got a septic system, can capture your own methane. And you can have, if you have a normal house with 4 people in it that poop regularly, you can produce an hour to 2 of methane per day out of your own toilet. Why isn't this done? Because we're in a type of game or war, and the ultimate control mechanism is the centralization of power. And food is number 1. Energy, water, it's all part of the same system to control you, right? So when you start taking action, when you start loving yourself, growing your own food, harvesting your own energy, harvesting your own water, and saying, no, I will not comply with any form of force and violence. I am here to serve. If you are depressed, if you are considering suicide, then I have a suggestion for you. Before you kill yourself, which, whatever, your energy still moves on. But I suggest this. Before you do that, why don't you go serve somebody? Give everything you got to people who need it the most and serve the land. Start putting food in the land. Start gardening. That's what I did. I went out and I put in probably 8 or 9 fruit trees in the ground this morning. When I was digging the holes for the fruit trees, I was cutting through sweet potatoes. My friends, there's one thing stronger than all of the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. The idea is the Garden of Eden. The idea is a place of radical, joyful abundance. The idea is service. When we serve our friends, our family, right? First, we have to serve ourselves enough so that we have the energy. So if you're sick and suffering, start by forgiving yourself and then go out and forgive everybody else because they were doing the best they could based on what they believed at the time. All war is deception, my friends. We have been deceived. So simply know that and go out and love somebody, serve somebody. And then I guarantee you this, you won't be depressed. Come visit us. We are at Galt's Landing. That's Galts Landing in Central Florida. We're 40 minutes from the Orlando International Airport. We are demonstrating the solution to all of the world's biggest problems. And I'll share one more thing with you real quick because we're getting very strategic about it. We are going to win the war and we are going to change the world. We are going to do everything, we being all of us, right? We not being a little teeny group, we being you and I, because that's what it takes. And here's how we're going to do it. Dr. Wolf, Braveheart Nation, the Earth Council, and all of these other entities and individuals that are saying, what's going on and what do we do about it? We are going to very strategically call out the corporations, corpse is death, the corporations that are currently selling poisons and toxins. I'll give you an example. Imagine when a few of the most influential people in the world call out Home Depot and Walmart and other entities that are selling glyphosate and Roundup. And they say, instead of selling those, Massey and True Green, the lawn chemical companies, all of the companies that sell this most wicked of toxins, along with the rest of them, and say, no more. Here's another product that promotes life instead of death. When we get a few, Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, I'm just going to name him since he has a huge platform, Donald Trump. I'm going to name her too. I don't have any faith that she will change her ways, but Kamala Harris, right? And again, I'm not naming these people because I think that they are courageous enough or aware enough, or in some cases, human enough to make the change, but we shall see. Everybody can be inspired. Everybody can be inspired. Imagine if Elon Musk and Tucker and Rogan got together and called out these companies very strategically. They would immediately, well, first of all, you would be aware. And I'm talking about everybody in their networks. There are hundreds of millions of people networks would be aware to stop, immediately call these companies that are managing their lawns and say no more. All right. So this is what we're doing. We've got already an incredible group of influencers, and you're one of them. So it's time. Let's call out these entities. Let's call the companies that are currently spraying our lawns with poisons. Let's let our neighbors know. They've already paid over $11 billion in criminal fines. This is not a hypothetical thing that's happening. It's documented and it's already proven in case law, in court. Let's stand free. Let's call out these companies. And then we have the solution. We can get with Environautics and Doc Will and Pat Miletich, the soil savior, and all of these other folks that have solutions. And we can immediately replace those poisons with living systems, God's systems that actually promote life. Right? So love, my friends. Have a great day. And by the way, if you want to grow your own food, check out foodforestabundance.com. We have a strategy session. It costs nothing to learn about it. And then if you want to go forward, if you want to speed up time, if you want to grow your own food in your own backyard, then get a hold of us. We are duplicating this Freedom Farm Academy model all over the world, and every food forest becomes a nursery and a support system. Love, and have a great day.